Giang's story begins with the simple but deeply cherished moments of family life. After a long time apart, the opportunity to return to his hometown fills him with warmth and a sense of belonging. He spends precious time visiting his uncle and aunt, sharing meals in the comfort of familiar faces. The act of sitting with his uncle and drinking a cup of water becomes symbolic of the love and care he has missed. Despite the temptation to stay longer and enjoy these moments, Giang understands his responsibilities. He cannot afford to remain in the comfort of his family's home because duty calls him back to his office to arrange his work. He promises to return once the pressing matters are settled, yearning to spend time with his family again for a day or two. His departure is marked by heartfelt goodbyes, although he feels a bittersweet tension for not having fully said farewell on the way. Family bonds are strong, and the weight of separation pushes against the affection he feels for those left behind. This early part of his journey highlights his balance between personal longing and professional demands, a recurring theme throughout his experience. In his hometown, family life is portrayed through simple routines, the laundry, washing dishes, and shared household duties, which become emblematic of normalcy and love. Giang recognizes how fortunate he is to have these ordinary yet precious interactions, especially after a long search to find his roots. Gratitude underscores his words as he reflects on his reunion with his family, acknowledging that without significant help, such a reunion may never have happened. Among those who aided him is a police officer named Henry, whose quiet actions were pivotal. He not only helped save a doctor during an accident, but also played an instrumental role in locating Giang's family. Henry's support transcends simple duty. He considers Giang's affairs as part of his own life, showing deep empathy and commitment to reuniting the lost. Giang, in turn, expresses immense gratitude and a desire to repay this kindness, though he feels overwhelmed by the magnitude of what has been done for him. There is also a meaningful exchange involving money and care. Giang wishes to offer money to buy nourishing food for his grandparents, who are frail and pale, highlighting the physical toll time and hardship have taken on them. However, Henry resists accepting this money, emphasizing mutual support and a shared sense of family beyond blood. This interaction not only highlights the generosity and restraint between them, but also reinforces the theme of community support during hardship. Meanwhile, complications arise concerning Giang's family business and past conflicts. His father talks about the sinister nature of a general manager who tried to take over their company. This antagonist is described as ruthless, willing to use any means to achieve his goals, causing harm to the family and the business. Despite the damage, Giang's father expresses a desire for peace over vengeance, valuing familial harmony above all. Yet Giang feels unresolved and wants justice to be served, a tension between forgiveness and the need to hold wrongdoers accountable. As the story unfolds, questions around identity and truth emerge. Giang's family is cautiously optimistic about the girl they believe to be a lost family member. Physical markers such as a bracelet and a birthmark on the left shoulder serve as evidence, yet doubts linger due to lack of complete resemblance and the skepticism of some around them. The girl herself admits to being part of the family after several days of contact, which sways opinions toward acceptance, although certainty has to be tested. The threat of scams and deception plays through the community's conversations. Some neighbors suspect the girl might be an imposter, but strong emotions anchor the family's commitment to each other. They agree to pursue a DNA test to definitively confirm her identity, reflecting modern methods mingled with hopeful tradition. This fight against doubt and malice shows the deep human desire to claim belonging and the pains endured along the way. In parallel, everyday life continues with market visits, preparations of meals, and moments of lightheartedness amidst the turmoil. Presents from the countryside, discussions about cooking, and simple household chores weave a tapestry of life that persists regardless of hardship. The family's determination to protect and care for one another contrasts sharply with external threats, including the scheming general manager and public suspicion. The emotional intensity of the journey is felt keenly in exchanges between family members about their past losses, recent reunions, and hopes for the future. There is a palpable sense of gratitude toward those who have helped, such as Police Officer Henry, whose name appears repeatedly as a symbol of kindness and dedication. His quiet presence behind the scenes underscores the narrative of a lost identity restored through compassion and perseverance. As the story progresses, layers of complexity reveal a network of relationships, threats, and hopes. There's a dark undercurrent involving the elusive boss who has caused suffering in the community and the need to protect informants and vulnerable families. The search for justice intertwines with the intimate family story, broadening the scope from personal reunion to communal survival. Interspersed with these threads are moments of healing and care, traditional medicine to soothe aching legs, shared meals, and the care of older family members provide balance to the narrative. These elements suggest resilience, the nurturing of body and spirit, even in uncertain times. They also reveal how knowledge passed down through generations helps sustain the family. The story begins to close this part on a note of hopeful perseverance. Despite the trials, the family's happiness in being reunited shines through. Gratitude toward those who made the reunion possible, especially Henry, wraps the narrative in a warm sense of human kindness and the power of connection. The quiet strength of the family stands as a testament to enduring love and the hard-fought recovery of identity. This long and detailed recount offers a glimpse into Giang's life, his connections, and the struggles he faces as he rebuilds his family ties amidst external challenges and inner doubts. The story is rich with emotion, cultural detail, and the timeless theme of finding one's place and peace in the world after loss. This completes part one of the narrative. The story of Giang unfolds with intricate layers of human experience, anchored deeply in family, identity, and resilience amid hardship. The relationships revolve around the bonds between lost and found family members, the presence of selfless helpers, and the shadows of past betrayals that still loom over their lives. Giang herself emerges as a central figure whose journey offers profound insight into the cultural and emotional tapestry of Vietnamese family life. Giang's return to her family is suffused with an intense emotional complexity. The warmth of reconnecting with relatives after long separation evokes a sense of homecoming that transcends mere physical reunion. It is a spiritual restoration that involves rediscovering identity, past memories, and long-forgotten kinship. Yet even in this joy is a subtle undercurrent of uncertainty and suspicion. The self-doubt about whether the girl in question is truly part of the family illustrates the fragility of trust when lives have been fractured by time and circumstance. Physical markers such as a bracelet and birthmark are holding points for hope, but they also symbolize the precarious nature of proof and belief in human connections. The family's readiness to accept the girl while simultaneously planning for a DNA test captures a key tension in modern Vietnamese society between traditional recognition of kinship through signs and rituals and the scientific verification demanded by contemporary realities. This blend of ancient and modern ways to confirm identity speaks to the adaptive resilience of Vietnamese culture under pressure. The father's conflicted emotions in this context are particularly revealing. On one hand, he has suffered significant loss, not just emotional but also material, as he recounts the damage inflicted on the family's company by a malevolent general manager. His desire to seek peace rather than revenge contrasts with Giang's more restless insistence on justice and accountability. This generational or emotional divide is emblematic of a broader human experience, where older generations sometimes prioritize stability and harmony, while younger generations are inclined toward confrontation of wrongdoing. The father's perspective embodies a profound Vietnamese value of family unity and societal stability over personal vendettas, even in the face of grave injustice. Henry, the police officer, is a quietly heroic figure, whose actions embody the Vietnamese ideal of self-sacrifice and communal responsibility. Unlike the antagonists who seek personal gain through unethical strategies, Henry represents the moral center of the story. He does not seek recognition or reward. Instead, he acts out of genuine care and a sense of duty. His assistance in finding Giang's family and facilitating their reunion underscores the critical role that compassionate individuals play in weaving the fabric of community and family stability. Henry's humility and loyalty echo the respect held for honorable public servants in Vietnamese culture. The challenges faced by the family extend beyond reunion to concerns about external threats. The scheming general manager and the elusive boss, who endangers informants and vulnerable people, show the darker realities of societal corruption and abuse of power. The urgency to protect the informer Tay Mao and to find and punish the boss reveal ongoing struggles against systemic wrongdoing. This subplot adds a layer of social critique and realism to the narrative, emphasizing that the restoration of family peace cannot be fully realized without justice and societal accountability. Amidst these serious themes, the story also finds its moments of lightness and human tenderness. The careful attention to cooking traditional meals, the tending to elderly parents' pains with medicinal herbs, and simple domestic scenes evoke the enduring beauty of normal life. These details offer relief from tension while grounding the narrative in everyday reality. The emphasis on care for elders reflects the deep filial piety that is a fundamental pillar of Vietnamese cultural identity. The insistence on nurturing and healing, from cooking nourishing food to soaking feet in herbal baths, extends metaphors of physical and emotional healing. Just as the family nurses the body, they also work to mend broken relationships and wounds caused by loss and suspicion. These acts of care serve as unspoken affirmations of love, respect, and hope, signaling that creation and sustenance of life continue even in fraught situations. The community's mixed responses to the girl's return also highlight societal challenges. The suspicions of scams and imposture show how rumor and mistrust can threaten fragile bonds. Yet the family's steadfast acceptance and determination to confirm the girl's lineage through DNA testing reflect a powerful will to protect family integrity against outside doubt. This aspect of the story engages with the social reality of scams and mistrust in many communities today, illustrating the need for vigilance and scientific clarity without losing heart in human compassion. The extended dialogue between family members about their concerns and hopes reveals the complex emotional landscape shaped by trauma, separation, and reunion. Multi-generational perspectives enrich the story's depth, showing how different ages process pain and joy divergently, yet remain bound by love. The father's desire for a peaceful life and the daughter's wish for justice exemplify the confluence of individual desires within the family's greater narrative. Giang's character reflects the profound virtues celebrated in Vietnamese society: kindness, diligence, loyalty, and resilience. As observed in parallels with other Vietnamese literary analyses, her behaviors demonstrate attentiveness to others, selflessness, and an innate nurturing disposition. These traits are not only personal attributes, but also cultural ideals passed through generations, especially during historical hardships like wartime Vietnam. Her willingness to care for others, even as she seeks her own place, exemplifies a quintessential Vietnamese humanism. The story's intersection with themes of memory, trauma, and reconciliation encapsulates a universal human condition within a distinctly Vietnamese frame. The lingering shadows of past conflicts, the complexities of rebuilding broken ties, and the continual hope for light and peace echo historical experiences of many Vietnamese families torn apart by war and political strife. Finally, the narrative's progression toward healing, both physical and emotional, and the celebration of reunion serves as a hopeful testament to the enduring strength of family love and collective resilience. It suggests that while scars remain, the possibility of fresh beginnings grounded in care, truth, and justice is always within reach. The characters in Giang's story reveal a layered complexity that enriches the narrative, reflecting universal human conditions through distinctively Vietnamese experiences. Character development here transcends surface-level description, opening windows into psychological motivations, cultural values, societal pressures, and relational dynamics that shape individual destinies. Giang as the protagonist embodies resilience forged through loss and longing. From her perspective, life oscillates between moments of vulnerability and assertiveness. Her return to her biological family after long separation is not merely a physical homecoming, but an arduous journey to re-establish identity and belonging. This quest is deeply informed by Vietnamese family values, where lineage, heritage, and filial piety hold paramount importance. Despite the scars inflicted by years apart, Giang's actions consistently foreground care for her elders and dedication to family welfare, demonstrating an internalized sense of responsibility characteristic of traditional Vietnamese daughters. Her character is illustrated through the lens of ordinary acts rendered extraordinary by context, cooking nourishing meals, tending to the health of elderly parents, and navigating suspicions cast by outsiders with kindness rather than bitterness. These behaviors highlight a culturally esteemed virtue of silent sacrifice and laboring for family prosperity without complaint. This self-effacing humility is a potent cultural marker, contrasting sharply with other cultures' stress on personal autonomy or individual achievement. In Giang's case, selfhood is intimately tied to relational existence. The character of Henry, the police officer, introduces a parallel but complementary set of virtues. He is a figure of quiet strength and moral clarity amid chaos. Unlike figures in the family who grapple emotionally with past grief and future justice, Henry functions as an agent of order and compassion, bridging institutional power and human kindness. His humility in refusing compensation, framing the struggles of others as his own, resonates with Vietnamese ideals of communal kinship and shared fate rather than rigid officialdom. Henry's silent benevolence points to the moral architecture of the story, where true power lies not in wealth or coercion, but in loyalty, humility, and protective stewardship. His role subtly critiques corrupt or self-serving authority figures, represented by the oppressive general manager and the unseen boss. The contrast between Henry's integrity and their cynicism reinforces social commentary on the importance of ethical leadership and communal responsibility in Vietnam's evolving society. The family patriarch, Giang's father, manifests a profound internal conflict that adds emotional and thematic depth. His weariness from business battles and desire for peace mask a continuing wound from past betrayals. Yet his willingness to forego vengeance in favor of family tranquility reflects traditional Confucian values, prioritizing social harmony over individual retribution. His stance creates tension with Giang's younger generation, who seek to hold wrongdoers accountable. This generational and ideological divergence exposes the dialectic between change and tradition, justice and compassion, a dynamic central to Vietnam's socio-cultural narrative as it navigates modernity while honoring ancestral norms. Within the family and community dynamics, suspicion and acceptance weave an intricate emotional fabric. The arrival of the girl believed to be part of the family triggers a ripple of hope and doubt. The contested legitimacy, fueled by rumors and fears of deception, exemplifies the fragile trust that often accompanies reunions fractured by distance and time. Yet the family's resolve to seek DNA confirmation underscore a pragmatic adaptation, embracing scientific methods without abandoning traditional emotional and symbolic cues of identity, such as birthmarks and heirlooms. These tensions echo broader realities in Vietnamese social life, where rapid modernization and global influences coexist with enduring traditional customs. The story captures this interplay through its characters' negotiation between skepticism and faith, official channels and personal bonds, protecting family honor while confronting harsh social truths. Subplots related to community threats and moral dangers introduce another dimension to the story's character framework. The boss and the attempts to undermine the family's company symbolize external forces threatening personal and communal well-being. The imperative to protect whistleblowers like Tay Mao and vulnerable families broadens the narrative's scope from intimate family drama to a collective struggle against corruption, injustice, and violence. This expansion reflects Vietnam's ongoing societal challenges, embedding the family's private pain within a wider quest for justice and safety. In this larger social context, individual character choices acquire heightened significance. The protective actions of Henry and the cautious strategies of Giang's family reveal a microcosm of Vietnam's grassroots resilience against systemic threats. Each act of kindness, vigilance, and sacrifice resonates beyond personal survival to the hope for a just, stable society. The story's rich depiction of intergenerational relationships is especially noteworthy. Different family members articulate varied aspirations and grievances, shaped by their age, experience, and cultural positioning. The grandparents symbolize continuity, rootedness, and the endurance of ancestral knowledge. Their reliance on traditional remedies, storytelling, and emotional wisdom contrasts with younger members' navigation of modern technology, scientific validation, and social activism. This interplay beautifully captures tensions and harmonies within Vietnamese families today, where old and new coexist, sometimes clashing, often complementing. Through careful characterization, the narrative also explores themes of memory and trauma. The scars of past separations and conflicts linger palpably, affecting behavior, emotions, and relationships. Characters bear not only their own histories, but also collective memories of loss and displacement, characteristic of many Vietnamese families affected by war, labor migration, and social upheaval. The story thus dialogues with national narratives, connecting personal and historical trauma and illustrating healing as a slow, multi-dimensional process involving reconciliation, truth, and care. Artistic techniques enrich character portrayal. The narrative employs vivid, often symbolic imagery. The birthmark as a sign of identity, the bracelet as a token of past connection, traditional meals as embodiments of care, and herbal baths as metaphors of healing. These elements deepen the reader's emotional engagement and reinforce cultural specificity. The use of direct, simple language mirrors the authenticity of everyday life, emphasizing that profound human experiences are embedded in ordinary acts. Ultimately, characters in this story embody timeless values: love, loyalty, sacrifice, justice, forgiveness, situated within the tapestry of Vietnamese cultural context. Their struggles and triumphs illuminate universal truths about identity and belonging, while their particularities enrich global understanding of family, resilience, and social change. This detailed character analysis reveals a narrative of rich emotional texture and cultural significance. It invites reflection on how individuals navigate the complexities of familial love and societal justice, balancing tradition and progress. The story's enduring power lies in its portrayal of human connection as a source of strength, hope, and renewal amidst adversity. The saga of Giang and her family, supported quietly by Henry, reveals manifold insights not only into individual lives, but also into the cultural fabric that shapes them. It is in these stories of reunion, betrayal, healing, and hope that the enduring themes central to Vietnamese social and family life are profoundly articulated. One of the most poignant thematic strands is the tension and reconciliation between tradition and modernity. The narrative is embedded in a world where ancestral customs, symbolized by birthmarks, family heirlooms, and rural homecomings, intersect with the encroaching influence of scientific verification, like DNA testing, urban business conflicts, and modern legal justice. This dialectic reflects Vietnam's rapid socio-economic transformation while nurturing deep cultural continuity. Giang's family embodies this blend. They cherish the intangible heritage that binds them, yet do not shy away from practical contemporary tools to protect and affirm their lineage. The theme of identity emerges as a powerful undercurrent throughout the story. Giang's quest to find and be found by her family is a metaphor for the broader human longing for self-understanding and belonging. The ambivalence surrounding the girl's biological identity, the skepticism of outsiders, and the cautious hope of acceptance capture the fragile, negotiated nature of identity itself. Identity here is neither fixed nor absolute, but a dynamic interplay of memory, evidence, love, and social recognition. In Vietnamese culture, where filial ties and ancestral respect are pivotal, this search transcends personal yearning. It is a collective endeavor affirming family and social roots. Another core theme is the centrality of family as a source of emotional sustenance and moral grounding. Despite hardships, betrayals, and social challenges, the family remains a refuge and a site of regeneration. The recurring scenes of shared meals, mutual care for elders, and collective efforts to heal wounds articulate the Vietnamese philosophical ideal of family unity. This unity acts as a bastion against external threats, including the corrupt general manager and social skepticism. The family's efforts to protect, nurture, and reclaim their lost member exemplify a communal ethic deeply woven into Vietnamese life. The delicate exploration of forgiveness and justice adds further emotional and ethical complexity. Giang's father's desire to avoid vengeance in favor of lasting peace reflects a cultural wisdom emphasizing social harmony. This patience and forbearance stand in tension with younger voices demanding accountability and legal rectitude. This credo embodies a universal human dilemma, the challenge of balancing mercy with justice. But here it is inscribed within Vietnamese values, shaped by Confucian ethics and historical necessity. The father's stance points to the hope that justice need not only punish, but can also foster healing, suggesting a path toward reconciliation and societal stability. The narrative also foregrounds the ethic of care as a recurring motif. Care is not limited to physical acts like cooking, tending health, or providing shelter. It extends to emotional sustenance and moral support. Henry's quiet, selfless actions, the nurturing gestures among family members, and attentiveness to emotional wounds articulate this ethic vividly. Care here is both a personal virtue and a social glue that ensures continuity and resilience. It contrasts profoundly with the selfishness and malice displayed by antagonists, affirming a worldview where community and compassion prevail over individual greed. Communication and silence play critical roles in shaping character dynamics and narrative tension. Moments of unspoken understanding, shared glances, gentle touches, and simple acts of kindness often convey deeper emotion than words. Conversely, suspicion, rumors, and withheld truths generate conflict and uncertainty. This intricate dance between what is said and unsaid mirrors real-life familial and social complexities and highlights the nuanced ways Vietnamese families manage emotion and information to maintain cohesion. The narrative further reflects on memory, both personal and collective, as a source of both pain and strength. Time has fragmented the family's history, with long separations creating emotional and generational gaps. Yet memory, preserved in stories, heirlooms, and bodily marks, remains a vital link. The interplay between remembered pain and hopeful renewal underscores a psychological insight. Healing requires reckoning with the past without being imprisoned by it. The story affirms memory's double edge as source of identity and burden, spotlighting the courage needed to reclaim fractured pasts. The juxtaposition of urban and rural settings amplifies thematic tensions. Giang's return to her rural hometown from a position of work responsibilities symbolizes a journey from complexity and alienation towards simplicity and relational depth. Rural life, depicted through communal meals, garden herbs, and familial closeness, signifies authenticity and rootedness. Urban pressures, business threats, modern skepticism invite alienation but also practical action. This duality enriches the cultural portrait. Modern Vietnamese individuals straddle worlds of tradition and change, locality and mobility. The story's use of symbolic elements enriches interpretive possibilities. The birthmark might signify not only physical identity but spiritual heritage. The bracelet functions as a tangible continuity, linking past and present. Food preparation and traditional medicine symbolize nurturing and healing, grounded in knowledge passed down generations. The rain and weather serve metaphorical roles, reflecting emotional states and life's uncertainties. The narrative also hints at the social realities of suspicion and rumor within communities. The presence of scams and distrust serves as a cautionary backdrop, suggesting challenges faced by families in rapidly changing, often impersonal social environments. This reflects wider Vietnamese societal anxieties about modernity's risks and the fragility of social trust amidst economic and social upheaval. At an interpersonal level, the story emphasizes kindness as transformative. Small gestures, helping with laundry, preparing meals, sharing belongings, take on monumental importance. These actions become rituals of belonging and affirmation, healing what words alone cannot. Such kindness differentiates genuine family love from merely legal or biological ties, underlining relational practice as the core of family. The overarching mood, though marked by tension, remains suffused with hope. The possibility of genuine reunion and healing is not romanticized, but portrayed as arduous, requiring patience, dialogue, and mutual care. This realistic optimism channels Vietnamese philosophical traditions that emphasize perseverance and moral fortitude. The narrative's closure, pointing toward renewed family life, reaffirms cultural ideals of peace, stability, and generational continuity. It suggests that despite adversity and moral ambiguity, human connections endure and can be restored through faithful effort. This thoughtful, richly textured exploration demonstrates that the story operates on multiple levels as intimate family drama, social critique, and cultural manifesto. Its detailed portrayal of characters' interior and exterior struggles invites reflection on fundamental human themes while resonating with the particularities of Vietnamese experience. The story of Giang and her family reaches a compelling conclusion, presenting a rich tapestry of emotion and resilience deeply woven into Vietnamese social and familial traditions. The journey centers on themes of reunion, healing, identity, and hope, culminating in a reaffirmation of the core values that sustain individuals and communities alike. Giang's return to her roots has been marked by profound struggles, both external and internal, as she reconnects with her biological family after years of separation. This reawakening of familial bonds entails confronting memories long buried, overcoming suspicions cast by outsiders, and navigating the emotional complexities of rediscovered kinship. The arduous process of reintegration reveals the power of shared history and the innate human desire for belonging. The family, despite scars from betrayal and hardship, proves resilient. Their unity is evident in everyday rituals, the preparation of traditional meals, the care for aging parents, and the willingness to collectively face challenges. Such acts are imbued with symbolic significance, representing the nurturing fabric of Vietnamese family life, where love is expressed as much through deeds as words. Conflict emerges in the narrative not only from external threats, like the manipulative general manager seeking to harm the family's business, but also from within, as different generations and personalities grapple with questions of justice, forgiveness, and peace. Giang's father's preference for gentle reconciliation over revenge contrasts with younger members' desire for accountability and justice, illustrating the ongoing ethical dialogue within Vietnamese families negotiating tradition and modern expectations. The character of Henry, a humble police officer, remains pivotal. His quiet dedication to helping Giang find her family and supporting them through trials symbolizes the profound impact of individual acts of kindness within a community. His refusal to accept payment reflects the Vietnamese ideals of selflessness, duty, and communal care. Henry's presence is a moral anchor, providing both practical assistance and emotional support. Suspicion and skepticism surface as significant obstacles. Rumors of scams and doubts about the girl's identity present barriers that the family must confront. Yet their courage to pursue scientific validation through DNA testing while maintaining a deep faith in familial connection demonstrates the balance Vietnamese families seek between tradition and modernity. This blending highlights adaptability and perseverance, core traits in communities facing rapid social changes. The rural setting of the family's home contrasts with urban pressures and business conflicts in the background. The countryside represents authenticity, simplicity, and continuity of values, which stand in dynamic tension with the complexities of modern life. The return to rural roots is a motif of restoration and grounding. It serves as a metaphor for reconnecting not only with lost relatives, but also with cultural heritage and identity. Healing emerges as a central theme, both physical and emotional. Traditional remedies such as herbal baths and communal meals are metaphorical expressions of restorative care. These healing acts facilitate the restoration of relationships fractured by time, loss, and mistrust. Forgiveness and compassion become tools for renewal, suggesting that recovering from past trauma requires more than justice. It demands love, understanding, and patience. The theme of identity permeates the story. Giang's discovery of her birthmark and confirmation through DNA testing affirm the complicated nature of selfhood, rooted in both biology and social belonging. The story portrays identity as renegotiated rather than fixed, formed through memory, social recognition, and intimate relationships. This perspective mirrors the Vietnamese conception of family as both biological and relational networks. Communication, both verbal and nonverbal, is crucial in shaping the narrative's emotional texture. Shared silences and gentle gestures communicate profound care and connection, often more than spoken words can convey. These nuanced expressions reflect the cultural subtleties of Vietnamese family interactions, where restraint and empathy shape dialogues. The conclusion of the story holds a hopeful tone. The family's reunion is not presented as an easy or complete resolution, but as an ongoing process of rebuilding and adaptation. Their commitment to each other through crisis signals the enduring strength of familial ties that transcend hardship. The story closes on a note that honors perseverance, moral fortitude, and the human capacity for renewal. Broader social implications emerge from the family's struggle. The narrative critiques the damage wrought by corruption, greed, and social mistrust, viewed through the lens of the family's experiences. In facing these challenges, the characters exemplify grassroots resilience that strengthens social fabric. The story suggests that change and justice begin in the intimate spheres of family and community. Ultimately, this saga affirms the Vietnamese cultural ideals of family, filial piety, and social harmony. It illustrates these values as living forces capable of overcoming life's adversities. The narrative's richness lies in its universal appeal through culturally specific details, weaving a story of human connection, enduring love, and the hopeful pursuit of peace. This final segment offers a comprehensive view of the story's resolution and thematic integration, closing the narrative with a strong affirmation of values that resonate deeply within Vietnamese culture and beyond.